Welcome in. Welcome to the Profit First Show. I am your host, Jay Askew. I am very excited for tonight's show as we're going to be covering 5 different topics. Now, like always, when you attend the show, you get a part of me. And I just want to real quick, not even to start off on a bad note, but shout out to the person who commented, quit the yapping. Quit the yapping. And they were watching the show. And I'm sitting here wondering, I'm like, this is a show. And the channel is called Jay Askew. And this is called the Profit First Show. So there's two things about this show. One, it ain't yours. And two, you're not about to right lane me here. All right, so for those of you who do watch the show, I do appreciate you guys because I do think it's important that you know about my life as you watch other creators. But, I do take value and I take pride in not having heavy edited videos to just chop out a part and you're just like, you don't know anything about me. I just sound like a robot, right? There's too much AI, there's too much script writing going along. And I believe authenticity is severely needed in the content creation market. So welcome to the Profit First Show. Again, we're going to cover 5 different topics. Tonight, we're going to be covering people are using a buy now, pay later rent trend. It's kind of crazy because you never thought it would get to this day, but yeah, buy now, pay later rent. Then we're going to be covering Super Bowl ticket ripoffs, barber inflations, because Lord knows haircuts aren't $10 to $15 anymore. And number 4, this is number 4. People are struggling who have PhDs, struggling to get jobs. And the 5th one is a woman is exposing how she's getting free Netflix and Hulu by getting some type of device. It's really interesting to hear. I don't even know if it's legal. We're going to find out. We're going to react to it. And like always, if you guys have anything to say in the chat, put it in the chat. I have the chat right in front of me and we'll have it pop up during the show and I'll reply in between the sessions. All right, let's get into the first subject of tonight, which is buy now, pay later rent. Let's get it.
Why would they wait till we became the new?
That's amazing. Where's my sound? One sec. I got to hear my own sound. There we go. All right.
Why would they wait till we became the new adults to want to make 1-bedroom apartments $2,500 a month? But I got a resource that will be able to help some of y'all. Not all of y'all, but some of y'all. So it's called the Flex app. And this is how it looks on the App Store when you go to download it, okay? So this app is designed to help you split your rent into 2 payments. You're going to pay your first payment at the beginning of the month, and then the second payment will be due on whatever day you choose between the middle, close to the end of the month. It's your choice. Now, you do have to apply and get approved for this app. This app is not a free-for-all. It's not for everybody. But basically, this is the afterpay or the Klarna of rent. When you go on there and sign up, they're going to take you through the process of getting approved. They'll let you know if you're approved and for how much. They also let you search for your apartment complex because you have to make sure that your complex is included in these services. They don't service all apartments, but they do service a wide variety. So they're going to give you the option to search up where you live specifically, and they'll tell you whether they help pay for the rent or not. Now, you are still paying your rent. You're just splitting it up into payments. So how it works is once you get approved, you're going to go ahead and pay your first payment between the 1st and the 5th of the month. You pay that directly to the Flex app. And then the Flex app will pay your rent in full directly to your apartment complex. That second payment will be due on the Flex app later on in the month. So they basically pay your rent for you and they let you pay them in 2 payments. Now, they do have a membership fee. It's $14.99.
This is where you got me. Here we go. I guarantee you this fee is a monthly fee. They're taking advantage of people who don't know how to take advantage of their own money. Jay, rent is so expensive. Everything is expensive these days, isn't it? So why are we putting ourselves in situations to where we have to split up rent? Don't get me wrong. I do believe in splitting up payments if you are renting. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? You don't have to have a huge chunk of your money come out at the same time. And if you're able to have that money make you more money and you can split it up into payments and you've made money and then you still pay your rent, that's cool. But we're talking about buy now, pay later, and it's costing you $14.99 a month.
It's due on the 15th of every month. But what's $15 when they're basically helping you free up?
All right, baby, let me tell you real quick. $15 per month in 10 months is $150. Now, $15 per year is what? 150, so $180 per year. That's $180 that could be back in your pocket.
Of your money. I don't try to be slick and run off on these people because I don't know what they'll do if you don't pay as agreed. So don't try this at home. This is for my responsible people that just need a little bit more help, okay?
Here's the problem with that. The responsibility has to come before you look at splitting up rent and paying $14 a month, $15 a month, really. $15 a month to split up your rent. You're not winning in any situation. And we're going to see later on in this segment on how many people are actually using this on a month to month basis. You know, people are using this on a month to month basis. You know, they're not using it to just help themselves out because they're talking about doing it every single month and it's helping them manage their money better, but it's taking more money in the long run. This is exactly what the system that everybody wants to blame anybody on but themselves. This is exactly what they want you to do. Afford the payments, you can afford the thing. That's the biggest lie they ever told you.
I'm not telling you to start the process and then feel like, oh, you got extra $800 to $900 because they done paid your rent. No, baby, you still owe them people and you better pay them people. Cause I don't know. Nah, I ain't getting.
See, I'm not even playing that game. I'm not even playing that game. You know what I'm saying? I believe people should have at least 6 months of their living expenses saved up. Not just because I believe that's some magical number, but because I myself had to move out of an apartment that I couldn't afford because I ran into emergency problems. So I became roommates. I moved back in with family. I got a higher paying job. I invested back into myself. I started saving money instead of spending more money. I started paying off my debt. And many people, a lot of you all in the comments share your debt stories. And it's so motivating because it's like, it doesn't always have to be this way with you having to make payments and be behind and be in debt. A lot of people who have a victim mindset love to blame the system. But this is a choice. This is another choice that you're making to have a financial benefit in the short term, but financially long term, you're screwing yourself over. I actually did some extensive research I want to show you guys real quick. All right, so I'm gonna take you backstage real quick. This is how I do some of my research. And I'm gonna show you this article I was reading about what the actual Flex app does when you split your rent. So according to the Associated Press, this so-called rent now, pay later service has emerged over the past few years as housing costs climb and paychecks grow less predictable, particularly for lower income and gig economy workers. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, rents have jumped nearly 28% in the past 5 years. But this is why we should always be focused on making more money and having your money make more money for you. Trading your time for money is a thing that's so far behind when trying to capitalize on what today's economy looks like. You're not going to win if you're just trading your time for money. A lot of people live above their means. Companies such as Flex, Livable, and recently Affirm say breaking rent into multiple payments can help renters manage cash flow, but consumer advocates warn the products typically function like short-term loans, layering fees onto already strained budgets and, in some cases, carrying triple-digit effective interest rates. This is what people aren't going to talk about because they don't read. Triple digit effective interest rates. So you're paying over you're risking overpaying double your rent just because you needed to split it into two payments, raising questions about whether they ease financial pressure or deepen it. Kellen Johnson, 44, started using Flex to split up his rent payments about 2 years ago. Instead of paying his whole $1,800, we're just gonna call it $1,800 of his rent on the first month. Johnson would pay $1,300 on that date and $500 on the 15th. For the service, Flex collected that $14.99 monthly subscription fee as well as a 1% of the total rent. I don't care if it's 0.5%. You're paying extra for no reason. Long term, you're screwing yourself over. Over a year, that's 12%. Over 2 years, that's 24%. It seems as these days go on, people don't care about percentages or APR or any type of percentage at all unless it's their phone battery. But if your phone was on 24%, you know you need to charge it. You know you need to be more aware. You know you're going to look at it more scarcely and be like, hey, I don't need to be using it for just any reason. Let me turn down my brightness. Let me put on battery saving mode. How about income saving mode? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Let's get back to the reaction videos though.
So we know about Affirm, Klarna, Zip, Sezzle, all of those things, but do we know about Flex? We better know about Flex for our rent. Flex is also that girl. It splits your rent in half, close enough to half. Like my rent is like close to $1,600, so it's like $1,000 and then like $600 or whatever. I don't know how they got that, but I'll take it over just paying it all at once. Okay, if you don't have it, look it up and see if your community has it.
So here's my question. If you're concerned about splitting rent into a $1,000 payment between the 1st and the 5th, and then the 15th you pay $600, why not just split your own payments without using Flex into $400 per week? That's $1,600.
It's literally the best thing. Instead of paying all of that up front, you pay half now and half whenever you schedule the second payment. So you have to pay the first half portion that they give you between the 1st and the 5th, and then you'll pay your second payment on the date that you select. It can be the 15th. It can be from anywhere from the 15th to the 25th, 23rd. I don't know, whatever date. Look into Flex. Thank me later.
All right, so check this out. I get it. My man over here, E Cool J, said that it basically gives you the advantage of you having more cash flow. That's not that's not what I'm saying. It doesn't give you more cash flow. I understand splitting payments does allow you to keep more cash on your end. One, how many people are actually capitalizing on that increase of cash flow? Two, it's working against those people who want to create cash flow because number one, it's $14.99 per month. So you're using more money in the short term and long term than actually splitting up the payments yourself and just paying $400 a week if your rent was $1,600. On the flip side, I'm gonna bring your comment back up, bro. Not picking on you or anything, but I believe it's something that should be acknowledged. I used to think this way too. Oh, it's cash flow if I borrow money, but immediately you're responsible for that $14.99. Immediately you're responsible, or they're taking 1% of your rent. So if you pay $1,600, right? If you pay $1,600 in rent, and they're charging 1%, that's $16 plus the $14.99, which is a total of $30.99 per month that you're paying. Now, if you do that every single month to increase your cash flow, that means you better hope you better be making an extra $195.88 per year. So you're already down $200 basically. I don't understand how people are going to benefit from their cash flow when you're already starting in a negative hole. And most people, most people are not going to invest their money for that short period of time and be able to grow it. I don't hear nobody investing into real estate or investing into stocks saying they use Flex. I think this is a business structure that capitalizes on people who aren't responsible over their finances in the first place. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. It's always two sides to every coin.
So I just paid my rent and I was so frustrated and real irritated. I don't know why. It's the same bill every month, but anyways, and it's something I actually use, but the Holy Spirit began to speak to me, and he said, at least you have the access and the resources to pay your rent, so be anxious for nothing. And immediately I began to say, wow, like the enemy would try to do anything to take away your joy. I didn't know how I was going to even like pay my rent, but God showed up and he showed out like always. I don't know if you all know about like this app called Flex, but I would highly recommend Flex because it really break it down completely for you. And if you also have like a car payment that is extremely high, you could use Smart Pay.
But here's the thing. Okay, so let's listen to this conversation because there's a lot of wind going on in her background. But let's be honest here. She's talking about a high car payment and rent. Why are we having high car payments in the first place? Because of making unwise financial decisions. Or if you had to get a car, okay, but you're still considering it high. So when people say things like, oh, I have a high car payment, you have to question, what car do you have? You have to question, okay, how much money did you put down on it? You have to question, what's your APR? You have to question, how much is the car? You know what I'm saying? A car is a depreciating asset. So at the end of the day, when we look at somebody who is talking about having a high payment, what made you make that decision in the first place? And is this a wise decision for you to make with your finances because you get to split your payments? They're charging you extra. Just because it doesn't have an interest rate slapped on top of it doesn't mean that you're not going to pay more money over time. And we just heard from another girl in another video. The young lady was explaining how don't miss no payments because I don't know what they're going to do. And we just read in an article that these interest rates can get in the triple digits. You're playing with fire with these companies. Be late if you want to. Why are we splitting the payments up in the first place? Because you don't want to be late, right? So you're going to put more risk on if you're late again?
And Smart Pay actually pays off your car in advance and you pay them back. If you get paid weekly, you pay them weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, and they work with you. So I highly recommend it.
You know, this kind of reminds me of those loan buildings that always be in the hood. And I went there one time when I used to work at a Nike warehouse. And it was because, well, honestly, I didn't have no car note, but it was one of my first full-time jobs during the summer. And I remember trying to get my check early to pay some type of bill or something. But at the end of the day, I saw how much money they were taking out of my paycheck that was supposed to come in, but I needed it quicker. And so they took a percentage. And I'm like, bro, this is like the biggest scam. I never went there again. Patience, but also being wise about what I have. I tell y'all, I do dollar cost averaging. Every time a paycheck comes in, I live by the percentage. If you can't live by a certain percentage and you have to spend all your paycheck, you're living above your means. That's what I believe.
So here's a quick breakdown of like what Flex is and how it works. I've been using it since March. For like the majority of my lease, I was paying through Flex. I haven't had any issues personally. I know not all apartments offer it, but this is how it works. So you sign up and they kind of like do I'm pretty sure like a quick credit check, obviously, to see how much they're going to give you towards your rent every single month. So my rent was about $2,000 a month, and they would basically give me $500 at the first of the month, which means I was able to break my rent up into 2 payments. Very very small detail, but like tremendously helpful, honestly. So I was paying $1,500 on the first, and then on the 15th or 17th, you could set the day. I remember one month, I knew I needed like a couple more days, so I just pushed the second payment back, and they were cool with it, as long as it's not the week before. And you can do it at any time during the month, as long as it's not the week before the next payment. So I would do $500 middle of the month. And every time I continued to pay my rent, which I was paying my rent every single month, it would report very positively to my credit. So it was like mutually beneficial. It's a very simple process in terms of like signing up. I think I had signed, the first time I'd ever used it was I had signed up like days before my rent was due. And even if your apartment doesn't accept Flex, there are some other services that do the same thing. You just got to find them. And for me personally, it just was very beneficial. I loved it.
So here's my thing about it too, because that sounds like a benefit, right? It reports to the credit bureaus. But at least for the last apartment that I was in, we could have paid, I think, $5 more on top of the rent in order for them to report to the 3 credit bureaus. That was benefit. I didn't do it, but That was beneficial. But again, when you sign up for these things, they're already charging you a monthly fee and they're charging a certain percentage from what you pay. But they will report to the credit bureaus. But like, again, I'm just not, I don't care how cheap it sounds, $14 a month to increase your cash flow. I'm good. One of the things that, doesn't pertain to rent, but I'm not for is Robinhood Gold, right? I used Robinhood to buy some of my first stocks and look into options investing. And they have something called a brokerage account or well, we're just going to call it a brokerage account because when you put your money in there, you can have Robinhood Gold and it'll give you an APY of, I think, 3% or 3.5% interest. And so I did the math. You need to have a little bit over $2,000 sitting in that brokerage account in order for you to have it pay for itself because Robinhood Gold is $5. Now, $5 sounds cheap, but at what cost am I willing to put in 2 grand in order to just make $5 per month, which is $60 per year, when I can easily go to E-Trade, start an account with Morgan Stanley, and because that's who they're backed by, and then I'm making 3% or 3.4% interest without having to pay a $5 monthly fee. So I feel like so many people look over these small costs because it sounds cheap on paper, but over time, they're using your money to make money for you. I'm all about using my money to capitalize on making more money. That's why it's called the Profit First Show, because we got to think about these things first before we make these type of decisions. I used to think the same way. Oh, it's just $5. Yeah, that $5 adds up real quick, really quick.
Yeah, hello, hey, flex rent. At this point, we go together. Tell them we go together, baby. We 3 months in now. You my boyfriend. Yeah, we go together real bad. Make them payments today the 5th, y'all. Let's go.
What I tell y'all, people are not using it to just increase their cash flow. They're using it so they can depend on making payments instead of breaking it up themselves. She even shared her statement, or what we're looking at right now is her payment process statement, right? It says her amount was $1,097. It looks like this is like kind of like the receipt that Flex had paid for her. You know, Look, first of all, that rent is very cheap, unless this is just a certain part of her rent. But again, people aren't using this to capitalize on their cash flow. Otherwise, they'd probably be paying rent on a weekly basis because you can still increase your cash flow and save yourself $14.99 and not have to get charged 1% and not risk paying triple digit APR rates. Again, y'all saw the article in the beginning. I don't show these things for any reason. I'm doing my research. I'm reading more behind these topics. People are scamming themselves at this point.
All right, good morning, guys. I want to talk to you guys really quick about Flex. Listen, Flex is a really good thing. I want you to go online, look it up, and look up Flex Payments. Flex Payments can help you bridge the gap between paying your rent on time, because what it does is you do a soft credit check, you get approved with the program, and what happens is Flex pays your rent for you. They'll pay the rent for you between the 1st and the 5th, draft out half of the rent from your bank account. And on the 15th or the 16th or whatever date that you designate, they'll draft the second half. But the thing is, you're paying your rent on time, you're avoiding late fees, you're avoiding filing fees, and you don't have to worry about eviction. Listen, if you're struggling or if you're having a hard time trying to meet those deadlines with rent payments, look into using Flex. And if your company or your management company or landlord does not use Flex, maybe it's something that you can introduce to them so they can get their payment on time. Hope this information helps.
Again, it sounds helpful in the beginning, but again, we got to look at the bigger picture. All right. Especially when we look at things that we talk about on general on this channel, putting down a down payment on a car and saying, oh, well, how much do you want to pay per month on this car? Bro, it doesn't matter how much the payments are. It matters how much your money is going towards the interest rates. The middle class has been lied to in this situation when it comes down to payments. People think in the middle class, because you can afford the monthly payment, you can afford the thing. And this is on a smaller scale. Don't get me wrong. $14.99 isn't going to make or break someone. But a lot of you have talked to me in the chat or in the comment section and say, well, $5 is a lot for somebody who doesn't have it. Well, in your same words, $14.99 is a lot for someone who doesn't have it. And why do you think they're doing this in the first place? All right. L Cool J said $14 is a night at Chipotle. If you aren't smart with your new cash flow, you're making it back 3 times before the next month. Use it to capitalize on time. Every month it's optional. It's not automatic. That is true. And look, bro, I agree with you. The thing is, most people aren't doing this. Would you agree? Let me know in the comment section. Do you honestly believe most people are doing this? Because the videos that we're pulling aren't people who are sponsored by Flex App. I literally dug deep to find out what is Flex App. I read an article and I looked for videos that weren't sponsored by Flex App, because anybody who's sponsored by them is going to make them sound like they're Superman. I'm looking for honest opinions. All right. And these videos aren't sponsored by Flex App. These videos are people giving their own experience. Have you heard in any of these videos? All right. Here's a little spoiler alert. I got like 9 to 10 videos of this Flex App. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't watch these videos ahead of time. I watch the first 5 seconds and then I save them and then I react to them right now. So I'm seeing this in real time. I haven't heard anybody talk about increasing cash flow. Most people, what you said is exactly what people should do when they increase their cash flow. But most people aren't going to do that.
Okay, got it. So the Flex, did the payment go through?
No.
Okay, got you.
It kicked it out. It said I owe $1,900, and
okay.
I didn't have $1,900. I put what I thought I would owe. That's why I asked her, was my rent higher?
Yeah, so basically you're just trying to make your payment right now because Flex, it wasn't approved. It kicked it back.
Yes.
And the only amount that you're able to pay is just the balance, not with the late fee. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you're trying to pay it now?
I need to pay the late fee. I can pay it. I just can't pay it today.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the late fee off so that you can make your rent payment. Go ahead and make your payment in the next 10 minutes, and then I'll add the late fee on, and then you can pay the late fee at a later date, okay?
Okay, that'll work for me.
Awesome.
That's what I was going to ask Gracie. I don't know if she understood.
No, I got you. I'll take care of it right now. Thank you so much.
Oh, I have one more question.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Can you let me know, are they going to send me something, let me know?
Okay. I wish we would have heard more of that story. What do you think is going on? Obviously, somebody is late on their rent, but she's able to, I guess this is the manager, right? She's removing the late fee for the time being, and it's because Flex didn't end up paying her rent.
I'm on my way to the office, right? And this just random thought. A lot of people, even in luxury apartments, they use Flex. Everyone's familiar with Flex. Say I, right? Flex has a membership of $14 a month, right? And then you have the convenience fee on top of Flex, which can be a burden for some, but a lot of people love paying the rent half and half each month. I think it would just be more beneficial if you were just to, maybe you have a little credit card that has a max of like 3K, 5K. Your bills can't be no more than 3K, 5K a month. And if it is, and you're using Flex, I mean, some people make great money monthly. It's like some people just can be very irresponsible, right? But you might as well just put all of your rent, just use one credit card and put all of your rent and your bills on one credit card and then just pay that half off by the end of the month. Does that make sense? Just pay half throughout the month. So
that's actually really smart. That actually is really smart. Shout out to this creator, because that's another way. Instead of just using your cash and paying on a weekly basis, use your credit card and pay that thing off in full before the next month. And guess what? You owe no interest. And guess what? You owe no $14 fee. Well, it depends on what kind of card and product you have, but we're talking about a credit card where you don't pay a monthly fee and a credit card where you don't pay interest, obviously, until it overlaps. Don't make it overlap. You're still breaking it down, right? And if those are out, there are people out here who are like, hey, not everybody has a good enough credit score to get this type of credit limit. That's the problem. These type of companies literally feed on the people who are financially irresponsible, which is exactly why we're not hearing people talk about increasing their investments as they have more cash flow coming in, or as they have more access to cash, because they're breaking up their payments. Because there is no financial responsibility when you have people who are saying, I'd rather pay $14 to $15 a month, give up 1%, risk paying triple digit APR rates just to split my rent in half. They're already living above their means, or a financial, disaster could have happened. But you know, people use credit cards for different reasons. I think what she's explaining makes sense more than using the Flex app. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree.
First, you'll swipe, all your bills are on that credit card, right? And then that Friday, the first might be on a Friday, but that Friday, once you get paid or whenever you get paid, then just pay half of whatever's on that card. And it's going to be strictly just bills on that card, so you know exactly how much you are paying month by month for your bills. Just pay half of that card, and then once you get paid again, pay the card off, because you're going to use that card again to do the same method again next month.
You're splitting your bills on a card, or not splitting your bills on a card, but using your credit card to pay your bills next month, pay it off full. Cool. You're paying it off. You're not owing any interest. You're literally giving yourself a loan. I mean, the credit card is somebody else's money. It's the bank's money, but you're paying it off before you owe extra money, which in long term is more beneficial and has you have more access to cash if you want to invest and get your return or some return back. That sounds way more beneficial.
So I don't know how many people's apartments really use Flex, but Flex is basically you can split your rent into 2 payments. And quite frankly, as much of a help as that is for some people, I feel like for me personally, that is a fucking setup. I hate the fact that I have like 6 to 7 separate bills. I don't like having to pay something like each day and then I get a 2-week break and then have to pay it again. Like, it is a setup, and my apartment complex keeps trying to push it. Like, flex, split up your rent.
Because they're guaranteed to get their money, which makes sense. When I was an online fitness coach, a lot of the times when I was selling online fitness programs that were $1,000, $2,000, up to $5,000, right, in full, the way we would make a lot of sales is by having things that are buy now, pay later. And a lot of the times when people qualified, they would have $0 down or a couple $100 down. And then the company itself, the fitness company, would have the full amount of the loan. And we weren't responsible for collecting the money for the loan. It was the company, Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna. So of course they're trying to push it. As you can see, these companies, whether it's Flex or your apartment complex, they're benefiting from using money principles that make them more money in a shorter amount of time. And most people don't use those same principles for their own selves.
No, I don't want to have to owe you on the 1st and then owe you on the 15th and then have to owe you on the 1st again. No. Does it help people? Yes, it could help. But no, I'd rather pay it all at once. Like, that's just like Klarna and fucking Afterpay and stuff. Like, yeah, it's cool until them payments keep coming out. No.
Yo, at the end of the day, this is another way for people to get financially trapped because they're not going to capitalize on this. It's tailored for those who don't save their money, those who aren't as financially responsible. And there's always going to be businesses out there like that. But this is one of the reasons why I make videos like this, because at one point I wasn't aware of these type of traps. At one point, I had the cash to buy a lot of the things that I have, and I decided to use credit and have interest payments and make payments on it because I thought I was benefiting from keeping my cash and just making payments and letting go of a little bit at a time because I could afford the payments and not afford the thing. So again, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Whether you disagree or agree, there's 2 sides to every coin. Anyways, subscribe if you like the content as well. Let's get it. All right, my people, that was a successful first segment. We got the second segment coming up, which is, whoo, I'm going to offend a lot of people with this one. We're talking about a big event that's coming up recently, and this is the Super Bowl. People are getting ripped off of these tickets, man. Let's get into it and see what people are paying.
One thing that is on my bucket list I got to get off is going to the Super Bowl. So this year, y'all, we going to the Super Bowl. Let me look up the tickets. Okay, so it's only... I know this must be like filled seats. How many tickets? It's just me and one. Oh, that was for 2 tickets.
I just want to ask y'all in the comment section real quick. How much do you think people pay to go to the Super Bowl? How much do you think people pay to go to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna pick something else on my bucket list to go to. $21,000.
$21,000 for 2 seats or 1 seat?
The $6,000 tickets are the nosebleeds. My living room. I love my living room. I think I just want to be in my living room instead. Like, I don't know, like being in the comfort of your own home just.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. I probably won't even watch the Super Bowl this year. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, with family, just a little bit. I really don't care until it's the fourth quarter because the fourth quarter matters the most. But I think it's completely insane how people have the audacity to complain about finances. Not specifically talking about her. I'm talking about people in general. All year you hear politics and this politician and how the price of eggs are going up and how much they deserve a raise. But you know, maybe these are the same people who are not only just going to the Super Bowl, but because I heard people save up a lot of money and they wait till their team gets in the Super Bowl and that's when they spend it. But I also know people are spending on credit cards. But hear me out. Even if you're watching it in your living room, and it's not wrong to be entertained, I just believe being obsessed over a game of two grown men or multiple grown men fighting over an inflated piece of inflated leather pigskin is insane when you are not where you want to be financially. And this is not me coming off and being like, hey, nobody should relax or enjoy themselves. Yo, I play the PS5. I don't watch sports. I play the PS5 and Battlefield 6. But you know what? I can count on a single hand how many times I play that thing on a month to month basis. Usually it's when I'm like, you know what? I've done a great job. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not just talking about just working at a 9 to 5. I'm also talking about doing my, not the 9 to 5 work, but the 5 to 9 work. All right. That's just me. I set a real high standard for myself when it comes down to getting tasks done. And I don't believe that those that complain about the economy have the time to watch a damn game.
Prices for the Super Bowl this year are absolutely atrocious. Now I'm actually like curious, like what do you do for a living to be able to afford a $23,000 ticket? Let a girl know. Sit in the nosebleeds. It is going to cost you $6,000. $6,000. I've been to the Super Bowl. You will not be able to see the game from all the way up there. I mean, you might as well pay $6,000 and wear a blindfold. Most expensive one I found, $30,000. Some people pay that a year in rent. $30,000. Wouldn't it be cool if the Super Bowl was like actually an affordable event where diehard fans could go? I know that's not a reality, but that would be so awesome. I'm truly curious though, like who's affording these tickets?
Yo, so I just want to address the comment right here that my man L Cool J had said. He said, dang, I thought it was rent money they'd pay, not $20,000. That's crazy. It is crazy, man. Me and my dad went to a NFL game about a year ago. We watched the Eagles and the Commanders play, and it was pretty sweet. He initially thought, the only reason I went first is because my older brother couldn't go because he had a family emergency, and so somebody had to fill in for his ticket because it was the day of the game. And so I ended up filling in for his ticket. It was my first experience. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was cold as hell, but it was awesome. And my dad thought that he got the seats that they always get. And I'm like, wow, like we see it right up front. I'm not even obsessed with football. I don't know a thing about football or a football player, right? I know how the game worked, but anyways, I felt like I was like immersed in the game, being right there. It was a cool experience. I was like, Dad, how much these tickets usually cost? Yo, he was like, they're like $2,000, $3,000. Mind you, this was around the time where I told you all where I had to move back in because I wasn't responsible for my finances. So I'm sitting here like, dang, how are people affording this? I know mortgages. We watch videos where people say their mortgage is $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. My man L Cool J said right here that he thought it would have been a rent payment. Yo, that wasn't even the Super Bowl we went to, obviously. This was a game between the Eagles and the Commanders, and the Eagles ended up losing in the last quarter. And that taught me that lesson of like, it don't even matter until the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? They were ahead the whole time. Anyways, just imagine the Super Bowl. You can see the seats right here. Amazing deal, 7,000. We were like up here, right? In 200s. We were about right here. And my dad, no, he didn't pay this price, all right? Because it wasn't the Super Bowl. But we were right here where it says $7,000, right? And those seats were less than $2,000. But now it's the Super Bowl. I think the $2,000 seats were like in the 100 section, right? But the Super Bowl hijacks the price up. This is why I say people get ripped off. And I'm like, man, they be making so much money. I need to own an NFL team.
This is how much it would cost two people to attend Super Bowl 60 at Levi's Stadium, February 8, 2026. I'll make sure to include ticket prices, hotel, parking, food, drinks, and give you two options, a bad and bougie option and a more affordable one. Kicking it off with the tickets, if you want to sit up close and you're balling like that, then your price tag is only gonna be $52,030.
Let that sink in real quick. Let that marinate real quick. $52,000. That's $1,000 a week. But basically, it's $1,000 a week. I'm not saying people don't have money like that to pay it off cash. There's definitely people who do. I'm saying most people don't. And sure, you can be in your living room watching it, but I'm just like, I can't settle and then think that, man, there's so much more in life than to pay $52,000 for a game or to pay attention to a game when I'm not in the financial position that I want to be in yet. That's just my belief. Maybe it's just me though.
And 25 cents. And if you're looking for something a little bit more on the affordable side, sitting on section 419, you're looking at about $14,778.67. So in other words, a brand new Rolex Submariner. Moving along to the hotel, for something bougie but also somewhat affordable, the Nest Hotel Palo Alto will cost you $553 for that night. For food, drinks, and merch at the stadium, I would budget $400 to be safe.
Why is it $400 to eat at a Super? You know you're not about to eat healthy. I'm good. Here's another thing that, that I believe in. Drinking alcohol, unless it's like very special occasions. Like, I'm good. There are so many times where, I've been at the bar and hey, I told y'all, this is the Profit First show, man. I was raised to be a entrepreneur. So when I see things like this working out, I'm like, that business is making so much money. One of the reasons why I know what happens in the culinary arts business industry is because my dad is a chef and he owns a food truck company. He's owned restaurants before. And the thing is, we've had conversations and he's told me that alcohol is one of the most profitable things, if not the most profitable thing in a restaurant. And so when I see people at the bar buying drinks and stuff, I'm like, man, they bought a shot for $8? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you go to the ABC store, you get a bottle, you know how much that bottle is. But when you go to the bar, why is it so inflated? It's just, sure, you can argue that it improves your experience and, you just want to relax and have a great time. But this is the trap that I'm talking about, the financial trap of being ripped off, the financial trap of being distracted. I'd say the bigger expense is being distracted from your own situation. A lot of the times, men in general watch football to have an experience and be competitive. I say, let's bring that into your own life. Them dudes on the field are getting paid. Are you? And I'm not talking about no sports betting because we're not even about to get into that. That's for a whole nother topic. But I'd rather bring that competitive energy to improving my life, not shouting for another team for some player who doesn't even know my name and is getting paid, and I gotta go home and gotta go to work tomorrow. I'm good on all that, man. I'm good. I don't want to live my life like that.
Stadium parking is usually around $50 to $100, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's marked up, so budget $200. Take yourself somewhere nice after the game to eat, budget $200. So if you want to be bad and bougie, your grand total is $53,383.25. And
yeah, I don't.
If you want to go the more affordable route, your grand total is $16,131.67.
Somebody can go to college for that price. At least for what? Maybe a semester? I digress. Subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, man. Let's get it. All right, man. I was not expecting all of those add-ons, honestly. That was insane. All right, next up we got, oh man, something that is actually a problem that's been arising in the past, I'd say 15 years. We're talking about barber prices. Let's get into it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below.
Barbers, let's talk about it, man. Let's stop letting these viral posts lie to you, right? This headline is saying barbershops lost $412 million because fades hit $100, right? That don't even pass a basic math test. And I'm not just protecting barbers, I'm protecting facts, right? First off, there is no verified industry report that says barbershops lost $412 million because of pricing. That number came from a viral post on WorldStar. Not a Bureau of Labor and Statistics, not the census. It came from a viral post, right? The entire U.S. barber industry does about $5.8 billion a year. So you telling me price increase alone wiped out almost 10% of the whole industry, right? Think about it. See, what actually is happening is this, and I keep saying this, I'm gonna bust my chops saying it. Electricity is up, insurance is up, tools are up, supplies are up, licensing is up. Hell, even credit card fees are up. Booth rent is up, right? In 2022, inflation hit damn near 9%. Do you understand what that means, right? Clippers that were $100 are $200 plus now. Chair rent that used to be $500 is $1,000 now. Commercial leases didn't stop increasing just because clients complain online. And let's be clear, most barbers are not charging $100. The national average is still about $35. Yes, some luxury shops and barbers charge more.
Yeah, I'd say that's about average. Now, personally, me, I haven't gone to the barber in about 5 years. Reason being, when I started being an entrepreneur and I left school, I couldn't afford a haircut. And so there was only two options: figure out how to afford one or learn how to cut my own. And ever since I started growing my hair out, I learned how to cut my own by watching YouTube University. I made a lot of mistakes, but over the time, I was able to adjust because hair always grows back. But the last time I've gotten a haircut, it was probably about $25. And I taught my little brother how to cut his own hair. And last time he went to the barber shop, he paid about $35. But I know there's a lot more people, and we live in a small town. I know there's a lot more people who pay a lot more because Instagram, the social media age, and it's just like I watched a video earlier and it was talking about how barbers, all they got to do now is get a ring light, you know. And let me just say this. I respect barbers. I respect them because they help boost confidence, and I'm all about that. And they do great work. They're artists. You know, you sit down in the chair, you ask what you want, and they give you what you want if they're good at what they do. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm glad I know how to cut my own hair now because I've saved so much money, man. So much money. And I like to get a haircut every week. So that's easily for me over $120 if I were to get a haircut every week.
But that is not new. That's called market segmentation, right? Vacant chairs don't come from price hikes alone. It doesn't even make sense. They come from barbers leaving the industry, going private, going mobile, booth rent, going crazy, and shop owners not being able to scale under rising overhead. So they gotta close, right? So stop blaming barbers like we woke up greedy. Prices didn't go up because barbers just wanted more. Prices went up because the cost of even existing and doing the services went up. If you want to talk,
I agree. That could be something that can be considered with an increase in prices for sure. You know, if your supplies cost more, then you have to up your prices. Now, L Cool J said, "Man, I paid $50 in LA a couple of months ago." Dog. Now, I know LA is one of the most expensive states to live in, right? Or that's a city, but you know, California in general. And I'm like, bro, if it was at the frequency where I get haircuts, that would have been $200 a month, bro. I'm 27 years old. My car insurance is like $200 a month. Y'all can call that high, but they also consider me a higher risk because of the Tesla that I have, and I'm 27 years old. But I'm a safe driver. We gonna decrease that over time. Um, yeah. I just $50, bro. I remember when I was a teenager and haircuts was like $10. And no, that wasn't the kid price. It was like 10 bucks. 10 bucks. 10 bucks. It's crazy to think how expensive it is now. But it is a skill that a lot of people don't want to invest the time into, which is fair. You know, you're paying to actually, I'd say, save time, because once you learn how to cut your own hair, you know, you're good. But the beginning stages, it takes you a longer time, especially depending on what kind of haircut you have. And, you know, hopefully you don't have to sit in line. That was one of the most painful things I ever had to do when I used to have to go to a barber, was sit in line. You sitting there for an hour just to sit in a chair for like 15 to 20 minutes. Man, man. Oh, I would hate that. It's such a waste of time. Such a waste of time. But hopefully, if you're paying that $50 price, L Cool J, you're getting in and getting out in no time. Do barbers still do that? Do all barbers do that now? Like appointment only? You said, hold on, let me add context. It was the $35 for the cut and an extra 15 for the beard and my okay. But same cut to me. See, the last time I went to a barber, I didn't have a beard or a mustache. You know what I'm saying? But no, I feel you on that. Okay. That sounds pretty fair. Especially being in LA. That's a pretty fair price. Considering how expensive it is for people to live there, you would have thought that it would have been more expensive just to get your beard and your mustache cut. But let me know in the comment section down below if you guys still go to the barbers, if you've experienced barber inflation, and subscribe if you like the content as well. All right, my people, we're going on into the fourth topic. This one was actually really interesting. I was actually reading about this as I was on the treadmill last night. And it's actually people with PhDs are struggling to get jobs in today's economy. I don't know about you, but you know, when you think about people who spend a lot of time and get into debt to go into college, like myself, you end up thinking, man, why aren't they working the job that they want to work? And with that being said, there's different stories for every person, you know? So this is exactly why we're covering this topic. I don't have my PhD, and I'm like, a PhD struggling getting a job? A doctor? Let's find out what's going on. Subscribe if you like the content. Let's get it.
Someone explain to me how I have 4 degrees and still can't get a job. BA in communication, BA in Spanish, BFA in dance. Get ready for this one. Master's degree in freaking journalism. Mind you, I've gotten laid off not once, not twice, but 3 times in the span of 2 years. So if you're feeling behind, just know you're not.
So my question is, what did she get laid off from? What job industry? And the second thing is, I didn't learn this until later on. Thank God I went for computer science, because obviously, you know, we're going to be using technology for the rest of our lives. But a lot of the times people get degrees because of what they actually are passionate about, but that doesn't always equate to making money. I don't understand every single degree that's out there, but I do know a lot of the money-making degrees are in the STEM programs. You know what I'm saying? Or being a lawyer. Possibly, it's a hit or miss. Hey, let me know in the comment section down below. MBA, getting your MBA, becoming a doctor. You know, obviously we already talked about the medical field, and there's some other degrees as well, but certain things like theater arts, liberal arts, you guys got to let me know, because I have some friends in college who have literally struggled to get jobs in their expertise. And the more and more I learn about the economy, the job industry, I'm like, bro, what jobs are out there for those type of degrees? Like nowadays, jobs will just hire you just because you showed that you finished a degree, and it showed that you were able to complete something. But to do something in that field and be like, yeah, they're not hiring me, or I'm getting laid off. It's like, how much does the job industry value those type of degrees? Let me know in your comment section down below.
I'm currently in Hawaii on holiday and I just got 2 emails that triggered me, and let me share. I was going to wait until after the holiday to share about my job hunt process, but I just think that I'm going to share now because I'm being triggered. Trust me, I'm fine. I'm doing okay because I'm actually not attaching emotions to all of this job on shenanigans that is going on now. But if you've graduated in 2025, you know how the job market is, especially for public health people and for academias and researchers. It is the craziest time. I had applied for 2 postdoctoral positions in the same company and I met all of the requirements. I also exceeded meeting all of the requirements because it is even in a niche program that I had studied for 5 years and I had done my project, my dissertation on. So for sure, I thought I was going to get an interview. But also, I know that right now, multiple people are applying for the same position. But honestly, I just thought I was going to get an interview. But unfortunately, I just got 2 emails for those 2 roles stating that they're not going to be moving forward with my application for an interview. And this is
So one of the things that I hate about getting a letter and email and saying, "Oh yeah, we're moving forward. Unfortunately, you weren't selected for this role, blah blah blah." I hate that we can't improve from it. It's almost like completing a homework assignment or a test and then the professor is like, "I'm not going to mark the questions you got wrong." It's like, how are you supposed to improve from it? And I get it. There's discrimination laws that, people in companies would not cross the line for because obviously they'd be in legal trouble. But that's just one of the things that I personally don't really appreciate about the job industry. So whenever it's time for me to search for a new job or getting to an interview, not only do I mentally prepare myself like most people, but I go all out. I'd rather them tell me hell no than you weren't selected. And I don't always get that response, but I always leave with that integrity. I always make sure, and this is a part of sales as well. So I'm dropping some gems right now, right? A lot of the times people, there's certain job industries where, or jobs in general that will choose you because of your education. But I believe we're in the job economy where it matters about who you know, not what you know. Of course, you need to have a higher level of education depending on a certain type of job industry you're getting in. But at the end of the day, are you able to speak with integrity? Are you able to speak with confidence and sell yourself to the people who are across from you? And that doesn't mean you have to break your principles. It means that you have to listen off of what they are looking for. You think they're looking for the best person who is educated and prepared for this job, but a lot of the times they want somebody who they feel related to, who they feel like would be a perfect fit in the role. And you're not perfect, but at the same time, you can literally ask them questions like, well, what are you all looking for when it comes down to having someone fill in this role? I see what's on the paper, but I see what's online, but what are you all looking for considering that you all work in this building? Like, what is this building? What do you all care about? Seeing what other people want goes a lot further than telling them who you are, is what I'm saying. And when preparation meets opportunity, when they say what they need, you can match what they need and you don't have any fluff in between it. You know what I'm saying? That's what sales is. You finding out what people desire and you bridging the gap. Because HR be writing them job postings, not the people who are actually doing the job and working right beside you. HR. And these people don't even understand the job sometimes. I've been on so many tech interviews where the HR people are like, "Yeah, I have no idea what this is, but I got to ask this question." I'm like, "Thank you for being honest. I definitely appreciate you. And I promise I'll be honest as well." You know what I'm saying? They don't know too much about the job. They know how to do the HR work, but they don't know too much about the job. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below about this, though.
One thing I think about ever so often is the people who got degrees, PhDs, whatsoever, and still work minimum wage jobs. I think they're a pocket of society that we tend to forget, although sometimes it really keeps me up at night. And what really highlighted this reality to me is when I was working at Essence being, the big company. I was working at their factory, okay? I kid you not. If not, every 2-3 people you see in that factory, 2 of them, maybe 2 out of 5, these are statistics I'm just making, 2 out of 5 of them probably have a master's degree, and maybe 1 out of 7 of them have a PhD. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you literally did what they told you to do. Our parents push us to go to school because they're like, if you go to school, you got a degree 100%. Society tells you you got a master's, you make it 100%.
Nope. One of the biggest lies in the world that a lot of people have gotten manipulated off of is when you go to school, you're guaranteed to get a higher paying job. Cap. You have a better chance. And when you get in college, you're not really living in the real world. You're living in the collegiate world. And so a lot of people, technically, in layman's terms, are homeless students. Like, you stay on campus, you're getting in more debt. A lot of people don't have jobs, but you're working on getting a higher paying job, which is cool. But you're not living in the real world. And when you get in the real world, you figure out, man, I got this sheet of paper called a degree, but these jobs are asking for experience. But how am I supposed to get experience if my experience was in college? And then, yeah, don't get me wrong, there are opportunities in college that can give you the experience, right? Maybe an internship or some other program or project that you can work on. But not everybody can get into those things. Most people just don't, because there's only limited spots and limited time. And so we got to ask ourselves the question, what can make me or you stand out in a world full of people who has the same sheet of paper? Because last time I went on job interviews, they never asked me about my GPA. They never asked me about how many credit hours I took. Yo, I believe them days are over. Especially with AI coming into the industry, it's already penetrated how many times an employee has to worry about a task getting done. I'm working at a company right now. I'm working in IT, and one of the employees had called because I work help desk, and they were like, I need help with this AI program. Could you help me? I want to change this layout. And I'm like, bro, college is years behind. I believe the most important thing to do once you get the degree or while you're getting a degree is learning how to market yourself. Because these colleges marketed the idea of people guaranteeing a job, but they don't. People take that into their own heads and say, man, I'm going to get a job once I graduate college. No, they guarantee the degree as long as you follow their curriculum. But you got to know how to market yourself, which is so important for you to network, for you to know other people, so you can have connections, and so you know how to communicate. So when it comes down to searching for things, you have the upper hand against other people who are nervous about having a job at the end of the day. That's my belief. What do you all think in the comment section?
Society tells you have a PhD, you don't even have to look for a job. People will be looking for you. But I think it's effectively a lie. Because I meet people every so often, if not Ubers. And like, look, it's another discussion talking about people who did their degrees elsewhere and came here to start over. This is something different. I'm talking about people who studied in these institutions and followed y'all's laws and followed y'all's rules and still didn't make it. Literally did everything. What else can you do? And it creates this weird situation where like you're overqualified, you've not been in the field, in the working field for God knows how long. And now you can't really see yourself outside of like getting a professor job or like, I don't know what kind of other job, you know, the dryer. So then you have that huge gap. You're no longer entry position level because you have so many years of experience down your belt and people don't want to hire you because you're getting older. And now what's left for you is to work minimum wage. And
again, selling yourself is one of the most valuable skills you can have, in a respectful manner, of course. Knowing how to communicate, knowing how to convey a message and not give too much fluff, knowing how to make yourself memorable in a workplace is one of the most valuable things you can have. One of the things that I do to make people feel important when I meet new people, I don't know about you all, but I used to be terrible with remembering names. So let's say L Cool J, right? I meet L Cool J. Let's just call you J, right? My name is J too. So let's just call you J, right? If I met Cool J in person, I'm like, what's up, Jay? How you doing? Nice to meet you. Justin Askew. Boom. All right. I'm shaking your hand. I'm cool. That's my legal name, Justin Askew, but I go by Jay. So anyways, I'm talking to L Cool J, and I'm so consumed about what I'm going to say next because it's my first time meeting him. I'm like, dang, I forgot his name. Because that's what happens to most people, right? When you meet new people and you're nervous or you're at a position or getting an interview, you usually forget some people's names, right? And it's because you're nervous, right? But you're focused more on yourself than them. So to flip that script, what I do is say, oh, your name's Jay? That's interesting. What does that mean? So now I'm giving him attention. Now he's giving me definition behind his name. Oh, Jay means this? Oh, got you, got you. Okay, that's pretty interesting. What does that name? Well, I already said what does that name mean? What does that stand for? If I didn't know what Jay stood for. Right? But now, when he tells me what his name means, I correlate that. Oh, Jay means Justin. Cool. Jay means Justin. Now my brain is remembering a pattern, and I made his name stick not by trying to over listen, but being more interested in what he had to say about himself versus me. It's a skill. I'm telling you, it goes so far. People love to be seen. People love to feel heard. People love to feel important. And that's how you make an impact, by just remembering somebody's name. That's how you become more memorable. Hey, what's going on, Jay? You know what I'm saying? Dang, he remembered my name? Man, he makes me feel important. You know how many people I meet per day that don't remember my name or don't acknowledge me? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you can take it, hate it, love it. That's just something I've done, and it's definitely worked for me in sales and in the corporate world as well.
That's one of the saddest things. And it's like, at what point do we blame these people? Because people will say, you didn't try hard enough, you didn't apply hard enough. But what do you say to someone who for 5 years has been applying nonstop and still didn't get a job in their field? What do you say to them? Maybe have some better luck next time?
So this is the last thing I'll say, because she's bringing up so many good points. And if you all have been watching a lot of my videos, I do come off controversial, and I do disagree with what a lot of people say, because, well, I surround myself with a lot of positive statements. I read a lot of self-help books. And so I've had to reprogram my brain from thinking like, man, well, what am I supposed to do? I got denied by so many jobs. I've had friends tell me they've applied to 200 jobs a week and they've struggled to get a job. Okay, and so when you're an entrepreneur, you run into problems all the time. That's what you get paid for, is to solve other people's problems. So you have to change your mindset in order to figure out, how did this problem happen? What can we do different in order to never have this problem again? And we can move forward from it. I'm not going to sink in my own problems. And hear me out, y'all. When I have a problem in life, I literally set a 5-minute timer, and I might complain. I might say, man, all these jobs, they saying no to me. What the heck do I do? I got a degree behind my back. They don't want to hire me. I give myself 5 minutes for that BS. Then after that, I got to move forward. Why? Because the only way you're going to get the result you want is persistency. Hopefully I didn't make up that word. But anyways, being persistent, right? So the reason why I believe so many people complain about, man, these jobs don't want to hire me, is because they're going on Indeed and hitting apply. Ooh, they're paying that much. Apply. Yeah, send resume. Apply. You know how many people are doing that? The job market has literally became Tinder. The job market has literally became Tinder. And that's a great thing. We should capitalize on it. Why? Because so many people are being lazy with applying that now it takes a little bit more effort, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit more effort for you to stand out. Because most people are lazy. Now you just got to move one step forward and you're automatically standing out. What can we do to put ourselves forward of majority of people? Maybe I should find out who is the manager in that company, in the position that I want to work under or work above, whatever. And sometimes you gotta be, what's the dude from You on Netflix? I don't know his name. Is it Steve? It's somebody. But the dude from You, he's basically a stalker, right? I'm not telling you to do nothing illegal. I'm saying going the extra mile never hurts when it comes down to opportunity. Right now, I'm working for a company. They're doing a merger. No, I'm not going to say the company name, but let me tell you, I had to send like 10 different separate emails in order for them to give me an extra shot with working with them more, so I can get around the right people in that company and potentially get hired. Now, that's not a guarantee, but you know what? A lot of my coworkers, and I love them, they haven't done that. And that's cool, because I'm not in competition with them. I'm doing extra so I can stand out. If I'm always doing extra, nobody can compete with me. And if I still don't get the job, at least I said I knew I did more. And that's maybe there was a better candidate. But to do the same process and hope to get hired, clicking a button, hitting apply, clicking a button, scrolling down, hitting apply, I'm not going to be lazy with something that I want. If I want something, I'm going to get it. And if I'm going to get it, it means it takes persistency and mental fortitude. All right. I digress. I went on a rant. My bad. Anyways, that was it. Subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, my people, we got one last topic. And y'all see during the show, I've been drinking this half a gallon of water. Your boy got to use the bathroom. So I will be back in about 2 minutes. And we're going to finish up the last segment, which is a woman is exposing getting free Netflix, free Hulu, free streaming apps by buying a device on Walmart. We're going to see if this is an actual scam or something that's legitimately almost illegal. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Let's see if we got any comments real quick. I can't have your comment pop up, bro. You know what? I might have it on a different page. I wish I could have it pop up. It's crazy it won't pop up for me. But 1 second, let me see. All right, if it's not gonna pop up, I'll just read it out loud. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read it out loud. L Cool J said, "Man, this is a real dude. I appreciate you, bro. Not too many YouTubers are doing live reactions like this. Hey, I got a question. Do you have any videos on entrepreneurship?" I actually do, and I'm glad you asked because this channel didn't begin with reaction videos. Like, I am very passionate with capitalizing on the knowledge that we already have and turning that into a profit, because I don't believe that having one stream of income is enough anymore in today's economy. But I'm not even going to direct you towards watching those older videos, because a lot of the times in those videos, I direct the audience to, join my webinar or join my school group that I once had. But here's the honest truth. I had to learn that the same thing that worked for me on other social media platforms, L Cool J, that it wasn't going to work on YouTube. I had to package my message differently on YouTube in order to grow my audience, which is ultimately growing not only my income, but also growing my audience. I wasn't really building an audience behind those videos, and that's okay. It's trial and error with everything. But yeah, I definitely love doing live videos. One, because it gives you all the authenticity of who I really am. I believe there's a huge gap between content creators who react to the same things that I react to, but they chop it up and they put edits in between it, and that's fine. I get inspiration from those people, but I think it's something special about showing up on camera, and if a mistake happens, you're more human, you're more relatable, and you actually see who the person is because there's nothing that's covering it up or masking who that person is between sound effects and pop-ups and little cut scenes and something to make you laugh. I love all of that. I know how to do all of that. It's just I watch people who do live streams and do clips like I do. So I know how much they've helped me, and I definitely want to give back as well. So definitely subscribe, bro, because we're gonna have a series, right? I got a plan, and I'm glad you actually asked, bro, because there's a lot of people who watch the replays. So if you're watching right now, I'm gonna show y'all a little secret. Shout out to the people who are actually like the people who watch the replays. Y'all are getting something that I haven't ever shown before on this channel. So I have a game plan to show you to reveal entrepreneurship steps with making money with YouTube, because we just got monetized last week. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, so so you guys aren't gonna be able to read it, but I want to show you, like, I don't cap. Like, everything that I'm gonna say, I'm gonna show you all. All right. So this is my YouTube game plan, and my first phase was to get monetized. That's 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. It took me forever to get there because I had to experiment with different pieces of content, and I worked my ass off uploading long form content. I'm in phase 2 right now because we just got monetized. In phase 2, I'm focusing on obviously you got ads in my content right now, so I gotta adjust when you all see ads. Making playlists off of the top viewed topics on my channel. So a lot of you all have been watching the playlists that I've been making. Finding out which video topics get the highest CPM. So basically, I talk about money, you get paid more on YouTube. So it's really about the money making stage at me right now. I know I have to make cultivating content that's good, that's also entertaining, and also educational. And that's how I've been able to captivate an audience that returns to my my channel. Now, once I build this up to 4,000 watch hours per week, let me read your comment real quick because I don't want to get lost in my own stuff. They make it a show, you make it real life. Hey, bro, I appreciate that, man. Much love, bro. Much love, man. I appreciate that. And the show is definitely growing, y'all. Let me tell you why. One of the reasons why you don't see a whole bunch of people joining the live, right? El Cool J, is because I haven't publicly announced this is the time that we're going to go live Monday through Friday. The reason of that being is because I'm working a lot with my 9 to 5 right now. And, you know, the shifts are changing because it's a merger happening. So it's a lot going on right now, but I am going live on a daily basis. Yeah, so right now I'm in phase 2. Phase 2 is literally capitalizing on getting monetized. We got to make the money. Before I show you all the best tips to make money with YouTube as an entrepreneur or things that you know, I want to make sure that my results, obviously they're legit, but my results are also motivating. Okay? We just got monetized. I think we're at like $10. We got monetized like 3 days ago, so that's pretty cool. But again, these videos work for me passively, and each video is an asset. If you're able to use your phone, because I'm using an iPhone right now on my MacBook, if you're able to use your phone and your laptop in order for you to make money every single day, every single hour, man, just imagine a world like that, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, let's get into I think the 5th topic tonight, which is the final topic. Again, free streaming on Netflix, Hulu, and this woman is exposing some device that she's able to use it on that she got from Walmart. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Let's get into it. And again, or let me say this too, if you guys have any entrepreneur questions, ask me right up here. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely here to help give you guys the best insight from my own experience. All right, from my own experience. All right, let me find this thing. PhD, free Netflix, Barber inflation. There we go. Okay, let's get it.
I have to start by saying that this is not an ad. This is me just trying to help you save some money, but also it's just such a cool product that I wish I knew about sooner. If you're paying for like the standard Netflix plan, I think it's like $17.99 now, which is crazy. That's about $215 a year that you're spending just on Netflix. Now think about all the other subscriptions you're paying for, including cable, if you have that, but like Hulu, Prime, whatever it is. What if I told you that you can cancel all of those subscriptions, not have to pay anything monthly, but you can still watch everything plus more than what you're able to watch right now? You can buy this from Walmart.
I'm not gonna lie, this sounds like some real illegal stuff right now. So Netflix, Hulu, if you're watching me, I don't condone any of what's about to be said. I'm just here. I'm the messenger. I'm just here to understand what's behind the business. Where is the money going? She's purchasing something, but she doesn't have to purchase a subscription? I'm interested.
It's called a super box. The one I have specifically is the super box S7 Max. I'm gonna show you how it works because I hate when people are like, go to part 2. No, we don't do that here. First of all, that's it. It's tiny, it's not even noticeable, and that's all you need. It comes with a remote that you can talk to, by the way, okay? I watched a YouTube video to figure this out. It's so easy. If I can do it, anyone can do it. There's 4 apps that you download. There's Live TV, VOD, which is video on demand, playback, and then right there is backup TV. Okay, let's start with Live TV. Here it is. You see that? Over 2,000 channels. Everything you can think of is on here, including live sports, your local news, I mean anything local, but also seriously everything is on here. Everything. Again, you can talk to the remote. So if you want to watch like NFL, it's gonna show you everything that's on NFL. So many. Okay. Next we have.
Okay, so this is what I'm wondering, right? And if you have a box like this, or if you've known if anything like this, let me know in the comment section. But I feel like this is one of these devices that maybe it is legal, but they're showing ads with their own device, which helps them monetize like their company. And that's why it may be free. That's just my opinion. I'm just guessing on that one. L Cool J said, man, Omni in a Hellcat just got out of the feds for selling a service similar to this. I'm out. Whoa. Well, now we know it's illegal. Let me tell you this. We pay for Hulu and Netflix over here. All right. You know what I'm saying? We got the T-Mobile plan, and that comes with Netflix, and we pay $94 for Hulu. That's my people, though. I'm not paying $94 for no Hulu. I barely watch Hulu. You know what I'm saying? I'm more about YouTube. So that's crazy. And so basically, she's self-snitching on herself, is what you're saying, L Cool J.
VOD, video on demand. Okay, this is where you're gonna find your movies, your TV shows, but everything that's on Netflix and Prime and Disney and Max and blah, 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 it's all on here.
Okay, hold on. Netflix, Amazon. I pay for Amazon Prime, not to watch anything, but to get things quicker. Disney, I don't know what Fubo is. Discovery, Max, Apple TV. Apple TV is like an application, isn't it? Roku is like a software. Anyways, yeah, this seems like some illegal stuff, man.
It's all on here. Watch this.
At what cost?
Stranger Things.
Nah, baby.
This is what my husband and I are watching right now. And there it is. And all the seasons are on there too, including the newest one. So cool. Apparently, there's also movies on here that are still out in theaters sometimes.
Okay. Not the movies in theaters. Okay, so here's my thing. Let's bring it back to the money. She's trying to save money by not paying anything. Well, most people aren't aware of is that it's not about how much money you can save by trying to finesse the system, especially in a streaming service. It's about the time investment. See, the money you can always get back, but the time you won't. And so many people, this blew up on social media, by the way. It's one of the reasons why I'm covering it. So many people are like, oh my gosh, where can I get it? Like, how do I set it up? It's like the biggest cost to owning a streaming service or a TV is not how much it costs per month. It's how many hours you watch per month. I'm so grateful that PlayStation tracks how many hours I play a video game. Because once I look back, and I don't even play that much, once I look back, I'm like, bro, I played 200 hours of this game over the past like year and a half. What the hell where could I have been if I invested those 200 hours? I'm not perfect, so I know I'm gonna play the game a little bit. I know I'm gonna watch TV a little bit, but I'm like, man, I don't feel comfortable seeing that much time being used to be entertained. Most people are going to look at this and be like, oh my gosh, I can save $15. But you know how many hours are going to waste watching free shows as long as this is something that actually works? It's illegal, it's copyright, but
Next, we have playback. So this is like really for sports. You can watch, I mean, it's not just sports. I mean, it has.
I want to pause real quick. El Cool J said, research Amna. He was selling jailbroken Roku USB sticks that let you watch anything and everything. She may be okay, but now that it's rival, not for long. Whoa. Okay, so I guess it was still going. This is like the Amazon Fire Stick thing. This is like the Amazon Fire Stick thing. Yo, y'all know I'm a nerd at heart. I haven't plugged this thing up in a minute. This is one of the old fashioned, I don't know if they still look like this, but the Amazon Fire Sticks when they first came out. You know what I'm saying? I think I used this to like mirror my phone on my TV at a certain point. It got dust all over it and everything, man. Look. Again, I believe the biggest investment is the time being wasted, you know? Nothing wrong with watching a movie. I'd rather deserve it rather than treat myself to it. And there's a huge difference. Deserving means I have to do something to get it, and treating myself means I let my emotions say, yeah, it's okay for me to do it. But hey, let me know in the comment section down below, man, do you have one of these? What? Don't even say that, because we're not even about to. You ain't about to have the feds on my account. You know, let me know your opinion about this device. Are you for it or are you against it?
There we go. News, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, whatever. But if you missed a show, MTV, if you missed a show, you can actually go back. It's not just that day. It's actually 7 days that you can go back and watch. So if you missed a football game,
it's crazy how much technology has advanced.
7 days and watch whatever game you missed. I don't know how they do it. I'm not going to question that. That's not my job. But it's insane. The amount of money we're saving per month because of this is crazy.
What I tell you, everybody's worried about saving money, but you rarely hear people saying the same conversation, how they're saving money, but how they're also making more money or using your time more wisely. Because all this is going to do is open up a bigger window for them to want to waste their time. Hear me out. If you had to pay for everything that was streaming, which you do usually, there's fewer shows you can watch because obviously you don't want to have a high recurring bill on a whole bunch of subscriptions, right? But because they're getting it for free, guess how much more time is going to be wasted? Again, so I'm not even tripping about people who do this. My thing is, I kind of appreciate it. Because you know how many people have goals in life of making more money, investing their money, learning about how to capitalize and make multiple streams of income. But those are all things that they just say. They don't actually do the things that they say. And this is just another gateway for people to fall into that trap of not doing what they say. And again, we compare all of these things like the job market. People are like, man, people won't hire me. Why do you think people won't hire you? Because they're using AI. And if you have access to AI, they can search through your resume as quick as you made your resume with AI. And you're using Indeed or these other apps that just apply, scroll, treating it like Tinder. And so the lazier people get, the more distracted they get, the easier it is for opportunities to be taken advantage of. Even in a world full of chaos and job firings and layoffs, there's always room at the top. There's always room at the top. That's what I believe.
Superbox does do updates at times. So we saw, I mean, I figured this all out on YouTube, but the guy told me to also download this, which is TV Backup. That's the 4th app that I downloaded. If Superbox is ever updating live TV, you're not going to be able to access it sometimes. So then you can just go to TV Backup or Backup TV or whatever.
All right, so we're not going to go through a tutorial, but shout out to my guy, L Cool J. He said, I don't know if it's legal or not, but it's better to earn your playtime. 100%. I believe, I learned that through, I wish I had the book, y'all, but it's called Atomic Habits by James C. Clear. All right. Atomic Habits by James C. Clear. That book changed my life off of the small decisions, not choices, decisions that I've made in my life in order to hit a bigger goal. You see, most people make choices based off of their emotions. And so they let themselves off the hook thinking that it's only going to, this won't hurt, until that becomes such a consistent habit. You don't even have to think about making that choice or decision anymore. And it becomes a lifestyle. And it holds you back from being the person that you know you want to become. And I'd rather not regret looking back at my life and saying, I believe I could have done better if I would have focused more. I heard this quote once where this person had said, if you think the cost of investing into yourself is expensive, wait until you see the cost of regret. That literally put chills on me right now, man. I'm going to the gym after this show. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have the cost of regret, man, of what I could have been. When it's time for me to leave, it's time for me to leave this earth. But I just can't see myself regretting. I need to go all out. You said, L Cool J said, oh, I'm reading that right now. Got the workbook to go. Bro, it is going to change your life, bro. I read that book like 3 or 4 times, bro. Every time I read it, it's something new that I pick up. So, hey, look, I'm so grateful that I'm cultivating an audience of people who are looking to improve themselves and not a whole bunch of victims. Okay, could we get some of them too? But that's okay. That comes with part of the game of social media. But look, guys, if you like the video, make sure you subscribe. If you have to share your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree, make sure you put it in the comment section down below. And I will see you on the next show. All right, I'm out. Yo, that was an exciting segment. I'm not gonna lie. That was literally the best show I've ever had. Shout out to L Cool J for tapping in and being here the whole time. Also, I just want to be vulnerable with you guys. I believe I'm finding my voice with doing lives because that's how I make these YouTube videos. I don't chop it up. I don't edit. I don't try to distract you all with any B-roll or anything like that. So finding my voice, especially going live, is so important because at the end of the day, you watch other videos of other people who are like super energetic and like shouting in your face and, you know, switching scenes every couple of seconds. And that can sometimes, in my own belief, make it feel like I have to be that way. But here's the thing that I've learned personally, and this is for advice for anybody who wants to, you know, become a content creator on YouTube and get paid by YouTube. Stop watching other people do what you want to do. Real talk. Because it influences how you speak. It influences how you act. And this is the real me. A lot of the times when I had my previous shows, I try to hype myself up and everything, but I really got to talk how I would talk to someone like my brother. I got a younger brother, and we have talks like this all the time. And all the time we don't agree with each other, but it's empowering. And so I found out, especially last night, the less I watch of other people giving their opinions, the more I feel in tune with myself. And that's okay. So anyways, I appreciate everybody who has watched. We're going to go live tomorrow. I cannot give you guys a dedicated time though, because we're working overtime at this job and I don't know when it's actually going to be the end of the shift. But We will be live tomorrow, all right? I will see you guys in the next episode. I'm out. Peace. Subscribe if you like the content. Let's go.